can explain what would be the signs for parents who, as 20 months old and don't know, because, I study psychology, and I think that was a bit of fake information, but I was told that there was a kind of physiological aspect that was coincide to another physical development. So that was a good cue to know that when a child was able to walk the stairs, alternative steps, then he was ready to be potty trained. So I don't know if that's something that you have come upon, but that was a cue that I was given.
That. I do like, I want to get rid of the notion, wait till they're ready. So the idea that I think parents are so scared and so freaked out about potty training that we hold this myth that there's this readiness, that they will effortlessly potty train when they are ready. Number one, some kids are never ready. I regularly work with kids who are 5 and 6 years old, still in diapers. You please don't tell me they're not ready. They're writing, they're reading, and they're sitting in their own poop. So readiness has less to do with it. Capable. Are they capable? So I think, are they able to walk up the stairs? That's a good, and you said your mom, if you can walk, you can put your pee in the potty, right? So yeah. Some markers I look for, there is, and you're Montessori based. Maria Montessori actually recommended potty training between 12 and 18 months and expected it to be a long process. And you said something earlier that was so key, as long as it takes, right? Potty training is the only developmental milestone we put a cap on. Did you, when your child started to walk, you didn't say, you need to be running in 3 days. You need to be not falling in 3 days. When your child's going to learn how to ride a bike, you're not going to say, you need to do this in 1 day. We don't do that. We don't do that. And potty training is the only milestone that we put this cap on. It should be done now, or you're not ready. So I look for capability. I don't even think language is necessary. I think your child can be pre-verbal. I do look for, is your child at a tantrum throwing stage? Yeah. And people laugh at that. But if your child can throw a tantrum, they have an internal feeling and they are acting on it. Yeah. I mean, if they're not overtired or hungry, if they're just throwing a fit because you won't give them something, they're acting on it in a way that they think is going to get it. Right. So if your child's able to do that, they're able to feel a feeling. If your child's hungry and can ask for food in some way, shape, or form, they are capable of feeling an internal feeling and acting upon it. So I look for my age range, optimum age range is 20 to 30 months. I have many people who potty train at 16 months, 18 months. That's great. That is a longer learning curve. So if your child's 16 months and they're in daycare, for example, and the daycare is not supportive of potty training, you're going to have a hard time. It's a longer process. Yeah. They just have more learning to do. If you wait till after 30 months, they'll have less learning to do, but you have a psychological process called individuation, which is when your child realizes they're separate from you. This is the age of no, I'll do it myself. This is the age of power struggles. That is developmentally appropriate. Their personalities are blossoming. It's awesome, but they're going to hold the power. They literally physically hold the power. So you don't want to add pee and poop on top of that personality. So it's totally possible to potty train after 36 months for sure. It's just harder because of that personality. That's where you get the power struggles and the fights, right? So 20 to 30 months just happens to be a lull in development. They've mastered walking, they're running, they're climbing, they're eating, they can feed themselves, separation anxiety. They've mastered all of these things. And the next big milestone is that individuation. So there's this lull where they are just refining their skills. And it's also this age before that personality, they still love you and they want to please you. Once they hit 3, they don't care anymore, right? They really don't. And that's developmentally, again, very appropriate, but they're not as invested in you. Like, you want to capitalize on this age where they're like, I help, where your smile makes them smile, where they're invested in you being proud. Because at 3, they're going to be like, no, I don't care what you think. So that's why I like that age range. And I would say almost across the board, somewhere between 22 months and 24 months is just sort of the magical window. We just don't know when that, they don't come with a manual. The other thing I like to say is that, again, I'm a very Montessori Waldorfy parent myself, attachment parenter. But my child doesn't decide a whole lot under the age of 5. Like, I'm sorry, I'm the parent. I don't let my child decide when we're leaving the house. If we decided on children's readiness That's crazy. If your child, you know that somewhere between 9 and 16 months, your child should start to walk, right? They should start to show like climbing up, cruising along furniture. You know that. If they're not doing that on their own, you might buy a walker. You might start holding their hands and toddling them along, right? If they get past 16 months and they're not walking, you're not going to say, oh, he's not ready. You're going to get some help, right? Because we know
you're going to double check if they're with something.
Yeah, you're gonna, we just have these rough age ranges, right? And that's how I feel about potty training. And literally I get people who, their kids are 4.5, 5 years old and they go, oh, well, he wasn't ready. And I'm like, yeah, but it's our job as parents to know in our heads when these milestones should sort of happen. And if they're not happening, how do we move it along? Now, on that note, because of our busy lives, almost every kid does show this ready. We miss it. So around 18 months, when they start, they want to come into the bathroom with you. They love the toilet. They want to play in the toilet water. They want to play with the toilet paper. They want to mimic you. Right. And that's the age. Some kids might actually ask to go potty, tell you they've already peed in their diaper. They might sit even on a little potty. So that's usually when parents buy the little potty chair and they say, oh, well, here, you can sit. But that's not commitment. Right. And parents naturally think that's going to build. Oh, well, he asked to use the potty today. Maybe next week he'll take off his diaper and use the potty. That interest, that blip of interest, that's your ready. Most parents either miss it because of busy working, it's subtle, or they think it's going to extrapolate on its own, and it doesn't, because if you, the parent, don't jump on that opportunity, then your kid says, this is not important, right? If it's just sometimes, and you say, oh, sit if you want, that's not important to you. So the child says it's not important, and they don't get on board. The other thing, Corinne, that I feel so strongly about is we have to take this from the child's point of view. They have been in this nappy a lot of times before going to the breast or bottle. Okay? Talk about ultimate security blanket. This is all they have known. So the idea that one day they're going to, and toddlers hate change and transition. So the idea that they're going to take this wonderful warm thing against their butt and body and then go, I'm all done, that's kind of silly too. It happens, but it's not as common as people would lead you to believe. So I do think there's not readiness. It's capable, and knowing there's an age range here. And when do I have to start moving this along? And most parents are forced into it. Their kid turns 3, they're going to go to preschool. And in the US, preschools, you have to be potty trained. And then they're freaking out because they didn't attend to it.
Yeah, and I think that's what you say. We see those cues, and we have to take action, and we have to be ready when it happens. I totally remember that with my daughter, because she was in the younger age group in the nursery, and the staff, they told me, oh, well, she's super interested when we go to change her. Yep. If there is another child on the potty, she wants to go too. And she was just 2 years old. And so they asked me, do you want to start? I said, yeah, let's go. If she's interested. I really jumped on it. And for my son, he didn't show any readiness like that, but I think I missed it, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Because I was back full time, 2 children and other complicated stuff. But then, he started to show an interest when he saw that all his friends were potty trained in the classroom he was, in the preschool he was. So I took that as a cue, like, we missed the first stage. Sure. No, we have to do it. No. Sure. And that really is that. I think that's a commitment. And also, with the way we live now, we have the disposable nappies. So obviously, the child is used to be in that. Is used to be. So there is no way that he's going to think by himself. Yeah. But there is another way if we don't show him.
Well, and I say that, disposable diapers are such put us at such a disadvantage. Number one, they don't feel the wetness, No. And they even have a new disposable diaper with a chemical to put near your child's genitals that turns cold when they pee. And it's insane to me that you would pay, $3 or $4 a diaper for this to have chemicals near your kid's genitals, but also they could wear underpants and feel when they pee. It's this really silly thing. But also I remember I used cloth diapers with wool soakers. My son's butt had like this much fabric on it. It started to impede him being able to climb on things. And he was like, I'm all set with this. Take this thing off. So I do think, I tell parents, if you're in any doubt of like ready, use a cloth diaper for a week. You'll see how fast your child is ready. Yeah. And I do think you're right that we miss it because of busy, we're so busy, and it is really subtle. And I also think we go into casually, like the child might be interested, want to use the potty, and we're like, oh, we'll see where this goes. But your child is always going to revert back to the diaper because that's what they know and love. That's the habit. That's the routine. So it's putting a lot on little shoulders to make them lead the process. That expectation, that's too much for 2 or 3 year old shoulders. That's where we have to say.
And I agree with that from the Montessori perspective, because I think you said that as well in your book, like there is a sensitive period. Yeah. And that's really what we say in Montessori. There is a sensitive period for language, a sensitive period for gross motor skills, for fine motor skills. And when you are out of that sensitive period, it's gone. You cannot come back to it. If a child is not exposed to music in an early age, there is no way that your child will be interested to play an instrument or will be able to play properly an instrument later on. And the same with language, the same with everything. So that's a sensitive period. For potty training, we identify it within the Montessori, philosophy. She did even identify that period as well. And yes, that's something we recommend as well, is to use cloth nappy, cloth diapers, because they can feel it and that become uncomfortable. And when it's become uncomfortable, as you say, they don't want that anymore.
Well, and I think
then they show that they're ready.
And I think parents, we get confused again with too much information, but parents don't realize we have a situation, at least in the US, where parents want to potty train while in diapers. And this makes my head explode because I am so sensitive to the developing child. To ask a child to use the thing they've used since birth and to one day tell them to use it differently, it's like asking your child to not watch television, but keep the television on and let your child decide to not watch television. Like that that is an extraordinary expectation. So I think parents come from a loving place of like, I don't want to push. I want, and especially in a Montessori Waldorf philosophy where we're very, let the development happen. So I understand where it comes from, but you're actually expecting, it's too much to expect from a developing child. Yeah.
Montessori is often misunderstood as being this kind of big freedom, but there is some limits, and parents still the guide.
Absolutely.
We do know what are the limits. We're not going to let a child explore a hot oven. Absolutely. Because it's nice to explore a hot oven, Absolutely. We're going to obviously keep the child safe, and that would be, for me, having a child in a sewing nappy is nearly, it's not hygienic and it's not safe in a way, and that you prevent your child to be independent properly. As you say, if your child goes to school in a diaper, it's not independent.
Right.
So yeah.